And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. We're back recording an episode of this show. If you'll excuse me, I am trying to get everything set up the way I need it to be set up. Okay, we're back. Episode 206. Let's see. Yeah. Little thing up top. The start of the show is doing this. Oh, you might have just heard the ice maker behind me go. I interviewed Flula Borg. I believe I mentioned that last week in last week's episode. And I typically do the interviews and I put them out via if I recorded them, I do them on the podcast in their own separate little thing. And then if not, and then also now in lieu of the podcast, or alongside the podcast, really, I also put out a video under the interviews on youtube.com/cpluscomedy. Here's the thing. If I did this the way it should be done, you just heard me talk to Flula at the top of this podcast, because quite frankly, not a lot of topics to talk about in a regular main feed episode. And then you heard the theme song, and then you heard this, whatever this is. Maybe I should just record a separate intro for that. I'll do that right now. Okay, Chad, please edit from this point on. Oh boy, wasn't that great? If I edited it correctly, you didn't even notice. In a video version of the show, I should just leave it in. It'd be funny. So much editing to do, truly, and I had a whole week to do this, and I just didn't. But the problem is, I enjoyed the interview. I forgot to press record on Zoom, so that's the big issue. So if you watch the video, you're not going to see a lot of me. It's going to be, what sucks is I did a really funny bit that he enjoyed and went along with. I don't know if he enjoyed it. He went along with it. And I had a fanny pack. Oh my God, my fridge is so loud. I had a fanny pack, and I was pulling out. I already owned a fanny pack, so it was great. I just bought it for running. But bought this fanny pack, and I started pulling just random stuff out of it, like a candy bar, and then, like a golf, and then it all ended in like a golf club. And I thought it was such a good idea, and I did it. And I noticed I wasn't recording, so yeah. So then at one point, I think halfway through the interview, I pulled out my phone and I just started recording on that, because recording myself on that. I have him. I recorded a video. I did a screen capture. That's my backup. That's technically the backup. So what usually I do is I do the Zoom recording is the main one. The backup is is recorded via OBS, which if you want to slow down an old laptop, run OBS and then run something else. You'll notice last week when I tried to play YouTube videos alongside recording this. So yeah. And the thing I was worried about that entire time is the digital camera I'm using, or the DSLR I'm using as my webcam is it okay? I think that was the same day I figured out how to use the DSLR. So here we are recording a podcast, jobless, single. I got nothing to do. The weekend is I've been harping on this all day. Memorial Day weekend is coming. Is right here. And I got nothing to do. Isn't that horrible? Got nothing to do, nowhere to go. Maybe I'll go to a pool. Who knows? All right, well, you just spent 15 minutes listening to me talk to Flula. You want to spend another 15 listening to me talk about Amazon buying MGM? Yes, that's right. Amazon bought Metro Goldwyn Mayer. Google just activated somewhere. This comes from New York Times. I like to have one ear within a headphone. If you're watching the video, you just saw me swipe back in my right ear and pull off the cup of these Bose headphones, and I like to have one ear free, so I know how loud I'm talking. because when you have headphones on and you're talking into a microphone, you think you're talking at a regular volume, but you're not. I also just turned myself up. This comes from New York Times, written by Brooks Barnes, Nicole Sperling, and Karen Weiss. James Bond meet Jeff Bezos. Amazon makes $8.45 billion deal for MGM. Now, if you've been following this since last... Jesus, this is not moving. If you've been following this, this happened last weekend. Much like the the Discovery and Warner Media thing, this was kind of brought out of nowhere. Amazon had already been looking to buy, more studios and stuff, but this one kind of just popped out of nowhere. MGM was looking to be acquired for about a year or so, something like that. I don't know. We'll find out. And MGM has 007, James Bond, the Rocky franchise. Let's see, what else does it have? Thelma and Louise, a bunch of great movies. It just doesn't compete with what Warner Brothers or Sony has. Amazon will own 50% of James Bond. The balance is held by Barbara Broccoli and her brother Michael G. Wilson, who are the owners of the Bond estate now, I believe. Yes, that is true. Ever since their father, Albert R. Broccoli, handed over the keys to the series. Man, they must be rich. The company Amazon had about $71 billion in cash and a market capitalization of $1.64 trillion. So this was truly a move that they didn't need. This is the biggest acquisition of theirs since they bought Whole Foods in 2017, which was $13.4 billion. And I think analysts have been saying all week that they overpaid. Same thing for Discovery and Warner Media. Same thing for AT&T and Warner Media. They overpaid. Let's see. Okay, they're talking about... Okay. In buying MGM, Amazon is bolstering Prime Video at a time when the biggest old-line studios are becoming less willing to license their libraries outside of streaming services. Warner Brothers, Walt Disney Studios, and Paramount Pictures must now supply corporate siblings like HBO Max, Disney Plus, and Paramount Plus. Yes. This is a similar things happen with Sony licensing its old stuff and new stuff, its future new stuff, to Disney and Netflix. The Amazon deal could emerge as a pivotal moment in the convergence of big tech and the entertainment industry. Instead of acquiring old line studios, internet companies have grown under their own steam in Hollywood. Yeah, I guess so. Until now, Apple has flirted with such purchases in the past. I read something that said Apple nearly acquired Time Warner before AT&T did, and they had the money to do it, and that would have been an interesting purchase on their part. I think at this point, Apple wants to own what they do. Similar to what Fox Broadcasting does, and similar to what CBS does. They want to own the shows so that they can be the ones to make the money off of the streaming dollars if that show becomes a hit via streaming. Or, syndication, all that other stuff. Also, Jeff Bezos is going to step down from Amazon CEO to probably build his death ray. He's evil. Although its library is diminished, MGM still owns 4,000 older movies, including pre-1986 films that come from two MGM divisions, United Artists and Orion, both of which died pretty recently. At least UA did. Yeah. Oh, I just clicked on this link that Orion was highlighted as, and it goes to another New York Times article written last year and updated May 18th. Pledging to tell more stories, MGM remakes Orion Pictures. Whoa, good for them. Interesting. I did not know about that. Okay. So what they own is they own MGM owns Rocky, RoboCop, Pink Panther, Silence of the Lambs, which is the Clarice show is based on the sequel to. James Bond, Legally Blonde, Moonstruck, Basic Instinct, The Thomas Crown Affair, and Tomb Raider. Whoa. That's amazing. Oh, their newest movie. They have a bunch of movies that coming out that could be Oscar contenders, such as the Aretha Franklin biopic starring Jennifer Hudson, Respect, House of Gucci from Ridley Scott, starring Lady Gaga and Adam Driver. You think they fell in love? I recently rewatched Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper singing "Shallow" at the Oscars, and oh man, wet. No, but seriously, they're super horny for each other. And then they both broke off their respective relationships after that. Like, come on, man. Sounds like the devil had to happen. Completion of the deal is subject to regulatory approval, which it'll happen. I mean, if Disney and Fox can merge, Fox 20th Century can merge, then and AT&T can buy Warner Media, even during the Trump era when even he didn't want it to happen. I mean, nothing matters anymore. It's going to be five different. It's going to be Disney, Apple, who else? Disney, Apple, Netflix, Amazon, and probably one other studio that own everything. And everybody's going to be happy about it because Spider-Man gets to touch Wolverine's wiener. But this is going to be. I wonder what this does for. I mean, I don't think it'll do anything in the short or the long run. But I wonder what this does for the streaming library of the James Bond movies. Maybe the James Bond's writers' kids, like they own the rights to all of James Bond. Maybe they own the streaming rights as well, obviously. And I say that because Bond, you can stream the first movies prior to the 90s, I guess, on Pluto TV, on Amazon, or what is it? IMDb TV on Amazon Prime Video. Yeah. But this is a pretty good. This is a good deal for them. Again, they overpaid, but based on what I've read. But Amazon Studios is in desperate need. Well, Studios is the thing that is the production arm, but Amazon itself, Prime Video, is in need of something that is able to bolster itself in the streaming world. Because right now, I don't, unless you use a Fire Stick or a Fire TV or something, that I don't see people exactly running to Prime Video. But hey, who knows? We'll see how this goes. Because maybe, what was it? Okay. Oh God, the light just turned out. Oh man. Hey Google, turn on the desk light. It's all right. We're back. I'm keeping it all in, baby. It was AT&T that had to break up as Singular a couple of years ago, or break up into Singular Wireless, or get rid of its broadcast arm, or its arm to who knows, who cares? What am I talking about? I'm uninterested in what I have to say, but I think at some point everything's gonna have to break up. Just like they're trying to break up, regulators are trying to break up Facebook and Instagram. YouTube had to be broken. Not YouTube. Google had to be broken up, and even like into Alphabet, and even still, it's too powerful. I think Apple's got to. But Apple's smart. The way they're run, they don't look like a monopoly, but they definitely feel like one. And now these deals are making these smaller companies not know where to go. Like Lionsgate, I think Lionsgate's a great company. And I think they're all fine, production companies, and they put out good and bad movies all the time. But it's Lionsgate, STX, Legendary. I think Legendary might be a Warner Media thing. Who knows? I'm not going to care to look it up. All right, let's move on. Speaking of streaming, The ad rates for streaming are all over the place. That's what I wrote in the notes. This comes from Variety, written by Brian Steinberg. Advertisers at TV networks go to battle over streaming ad rates. NBC Universal, Warner Media, and the rest are seeking a premium from sponsors eager to attach their ads to streaming shows. Now you'll know Peacock, Tubi, Crackle, Pluto TV, and Paramount Plus. They all have ads. Everything. Oh, and then HBO Max at some point will have ads in about a month or so. And I don't know if they're going to be outside ads, but I can only assume so. Madison Avenue and Hollywood are squabbling over advertising rates for some of the industry's most interesting new venues. Both sides acknowledge that streaming video is all the rage. That's what Steinberg wrote. And that younger consumers are migrating away from big audience TV in favor of on-demand binge sessions. Ooh, binge. With streaming video venues like Hulu, Tubi, and Pluto. But that's where agreement stops. The entertainment industry wants to charge rates that are akin to primetime TV and top sports broadcasts, and the advertisers say the nascent video venues quite simply haven't gotten to that point. So that would require, so the problem is, NBC Universal, Warner Media, they see people are flocking away from broadcast, from cable, from traditional ways to watch television, and they're going over to streaming. They're going to Netflix and Disney Plus, and they're saying this is the way. The viewers and the audience are saying this is the way we want to watch television. So they're trying these big studios are trying to do. They're just taking how much they charge for a commercial slot on Law and Order. NBC Universal is, and they're going to Peacock and saying you got to charge. We're charging you this exact same amount, but there's still not the viewers to support that, because again, it's not Netflix and Disney Plus. They're not doing ads. It's Hulu with ads, and Tubi and Pluto and Crackle and every single other one. I don't know if Crackle's doing it, but Peacock, and those numbers don't exactly translate because people don't watch. Some people might hold off on watching Law and Order for 3 or 4 weeks. Law and Order SVU, 3 or 4 weeks, and then just, have 4 episodes to watch at once. So just like Nielsen ratings need to change, ad rates also have to change. So at one point, this might be brought up in Steinberg's piece later, but at some point, maybe they'll say, okay, if we can't charge the same amount for broadcast ads on primetime broadcasts, then maybe we can put in more ad breaks. We can take, instead of doing a total of 5-minute ad breaks per half hour like on Peacock. I don't know why I'm picking on Peacock, but they bragged about this. If instead of doing up to 5 minutes every 30 minutes or so, then maybe we can do just traditional 3-minute blocks every 7 minutes. I mean, I don't see it being far off from that anytime in the future. So like in a couple of years, I could see that happening. NBC Universal goes, we had Peacock is having a great run and a great lifestyle and blah, blah, blah. It's time to charge $1 more, and we're going to start running more Ben and Jerry ads. The back and forth over a very new type of media shows just how quickly streaming video is hooking consumers who have a yin for high-quality dramas and comedies, and the advertisers who need to reach them to keep revenue flowing. There's likely more to come. Fox Corp in March suggested to investors that over time ad revenue for its Tubi streaming outlet could exceed what the company captures for its Fox broadcast network. Walt Disney Company said in March, filing with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, that ad sales at Hulu ABC.com and other direct-to-consumer businesses rose 47% to $882 million last quarter. That's almost $1 billion. Not far away from the $984 million that came to ABC, which notched a gain of 5%. NBC Universal is already acting as if streaming is here for the long haul and has made a point to ask for rates for Peacock that are on par with traditional primetime. That's exactly what I was saying earlier. Before they can plan for the future, however, the TV companies need to contend with the present. At issue in current talks is a measure called a CPM, an expression of the cost of reaching 1,000 consumers that is central to the industry's annual quote-unquote upfront talks when advertisers and TV networks haggle over consumer commercial prices and all that stuff. Yeah. Networks are eager to replace them with streaming viewership, the regular TV numbers with streaming viewership. And they're pressing for big CPM increases that often surpass those for being asked for traditional TV. I mean, if you had the numbers, if Peacock, and again, I'm sorry for picking up Peacock, but if Peacock had the same numbers as a Disney Plus, the same subscriber count, the same type of annual increase, even though there was it plateaued earlier a couple weeks ago, then Disney Plus plateaued. But then it'd be able to ask for this premium price. So if it's charging $5 on NBC and USA for at 8 o'clock, or $5 on NBC and $4 on USA, and then it's going to Peacock and going, hey, please give us $5 for this ad spot. But how many people are you getting over there on Peacock? Oh, we have 11 million subscribers. Okay, are they all watching, Law and Order SVU? No. Well, how do you expect us to pay that much money? The networks won't apologize for seeking rates some might consider aggressive. TV executives believe they are offering a better quality of programming than many of their upstart rivals and think their ability to carve out audience niches around people who might want to see a movie or buy a car is worth a little extra. I will say this, there's that dedicated portion, even though the Nielsen ratings for some Netflix shows that they run independently, because Netflix doesn't release numbers, the numbers, drop off significantly. Like a first episode of a Stranger Things season has 20 million viewers. And then, with each subsequent episode, it goes from 20 down to, let's say, 11 or 9. 25 or 6 to 4. Then, then maybe that's just how, maybe they have to be realistic with these numbers they asked for, with the money they asked for. I didn't want this to go on too long. It's now been 24 minutes. And I have to edit. This last thing comes from the Wall Street Journal, which I am subscribed back to for the year. From Joe Flint and Suzanne Vranica. Oh, God. This thing's not... It's not disappearing. Okay, from FBI to the Wonder Years, TV networks bet on more franchises and reboots. And so this kind of goes along with the last thing with the ad rates. Networks are... the pandemic changed a lot of how television is going to work. I'm not going to say it changed it, forever, but it definitely changed. When the pandemic started, shows that, and I mentioned this in this week's News Time, which this is partly about, which shows that probably weren't going to get another season, got another season. Like The Unicorn on CBS, that probably would have been canceled in the first season. But and it got canceled this season. But shows that shouldn't have survived because we didn't know when we're going to go back and be able to make TV shows and movies. So why not just if you cancel a bunch of shows and nobody can pitch you a show because obviously you didn't know Zoom was a thing yet or video chatting was a thing yet, then or if you don't want to dump money into a project that you don't know if it's going to do well because of the pandemic, then just stick with what you know. And they did. And now that we're coming out of the pandemic, those shows either performed well enough to stay or they got kicked to the curb, like the Unicorn. They were kicked to the curb. Not they didn't got kicked to the curb. Maybe I'll be a teacher. I'll just give up my dreams and be a teacher. Yeah, it's not giving up your dreams. It's doing something else. So now, if you notice, Dick Wolf has 9 different shows across 2 different networks, and they're all in the same universe. He has 3 Law and Order shows, one of which started this past television season, and then another one is coming next season. 3 very, well-performing Chicago shows, PD, Fire, and Med. You can't find Chicago Justice anywhere. Put it on Peacock. I want to see it. And I've never seen Chicago, so put it on Peacock, I'll watch. I'll watch all 4. And then you got the FBI shows. 2 international, FBI, and FFBBII. That's not a real show. Boy, oh boy, this camera looks amazing. The big 4 U.S. broadcasting networks are rehashing existing material. Oh no. The camera just shut off. Ugh. Okay. Look, we're just going to have to deal with this. Okay, give me 1 second. The camera just shut off. More editing is going to have to go on this stupid episode. Oh, this thing better still be recording. I'm going to be so pissed. It is still recording. All right. What you just heard was the camera shutting off and me getting up and having to change the battery. Let's finish out this episode. So reboots are, quote, a safer bet, but on the negative side, it shows the networks aren't taking any risks, said Garth Tdeje, Executive Vice President of Video Investment for Horizon Media. While the trend hasn't dazzled Madison Avenue, which will decide in weeks how much to gamble on the next wave of predictable programming, broadcast networks are expected to benefit from the uptick in ad spending. So the summer upfronts were a couple of weeks ago, and this is what they talked about. This is the ad stuff that they were talking about, buying ads, buying ad time. After the company I worked for, the last company I worked for, participated in upfronts, and we had to watch. I remember this distinctly. We had to watch the first pandemic upfront that the company produced, and it was the head of the guy who created the networks, and he was not good at presenting. And again, it was a pandemic, and it's the upfront, so they try to razzle dazzle you. They shot it on a stage somewhere here in Atlanta, and I don't remember. I don't remember where, but it looked pleasant. And they had special guests, and I remember one of the guests was Halle Berry, I believe. I think it was Halle Berry. I don't remember this exactly, but I think it was Halle. Yeah, it was Halle Berry, because I remember she was sitting in her backyard in her sundress, and it was as if she recorded this on her phone, which I'm 1,000% sure that she recorded whatever was asked of her on her phone, and she could not have been more bothered. Anyway, I just got an email from my apartment complex that says somebody's been fraudulently acting as Georgia Power, asking for money. Please disregard these messages or have me not use Georgia Power at all. Yeah. Anyway, I remember seeing that up front, and we had a company meeting, and they played it over the Zoom. This is in last May, I believe, because then they also had another up front that we had to watch in the winter time, right before I was laid off. Ooh, what a good day! And we watched it, and it was 15 minutes, and it was all. And this is like a bunch of. I don't want to get too specific. This is a play. This is an area. This is a company that doesn't have a lot of original television shows. Anyway, that's it. I don't want to get too far into that. I talked to Flula Borg. A trade association representing TV networks alleged that Nielsen undercounted viewership during the pandemic in part because the measurement giant Nielsen's methods for maintaining its household panels was inadequate during the crisis. A measurement watchdog's review found Nielsen undercounted. Oh, this is going to be good for the Nielsen episode I planned. TV viewers by as much as 6% in February. The trade group has called for a full audit. This is going to get into the weeds of ratings and stuff. But the gist of it is that networks are relying on reboots. They want to charge more for ad rates because on streaming because they think they can. The numbers aren't there. And yet they're operating as if it's business as usual when they're only relying on their older shows and the older things that their companies own, like Clarice for Viacom CBS. You know, it wasn't received very well, and I don't think the ratings did very hot. Were good, but CBS is reluctant to let that go because they spent so much money on the Super Bowl, the Power Bowl, the Super Bowl, talking about it. Same thing for Equalizer. I think the ratings were just fine for that, but these things that people know, they're going to come back and they're going to watch them. Because even if the ratings weren't good, then they still have, for CBS, the 8 million people they're going to watch. All right, that's it. We're done. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website comedy.com. I just kicked the desk. c+comedy.com, where you can see me interview your favorite comedians like Flula Borg. And hopefully somebody I talked to just a couple of months ago before Flula again. But who knows? I'm trying to set that one up for a couple of weeks now. Don't send me the email and then not respond. If you want to see a video version of this show, youtube.com/C+comedy. I don't know why you would want to do that. See me do a lot of harsh editing. Speaking of youtube.com/C+comedy, you can see our premiere show, News Time. Oh, I didn't talk about the new Rugrats. Who cares? It's fine. A lot of weed jokes, and I just don't like it. A lot of like getting high jokes, and it just bothers the mess out of me. But it's fine. You can see our premiere show, News Time. Oh, the cat's awake. Premiere show, she's cleaning herself. News Time, which is like the Daily Show, except way less funny. I talk in front of a camera about entertainment, business, and news stuff, and I try to make it funny sometimes. A lot of information overload. This week's episode was, let me double check what it was about. Because even though I did it like 2 days ago, I don't know what it was about. It was about bubble shows in the bubble. On the bubble of cancellation bubble. So check it out, definitely. Very fun. Instagram, Twitter, @C+comedy. Me on Instagram and Twitter, @ChatBlackWhite. Like us on Facebook. Rate, review, subscribe to this show wherever you get your podcast, The Constitutionals. And that's it. We're gonna leave. Okay. Goodbye.